Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Armielyn, for being here with us today. So, I'm Supriya Bualka. I'm the founder of Coding and More. And today, I would like to welcome Armielyn from the Philippines, who will be speaking to us about her work on AI and how it is used for innovations in industry. So, Armielyn Obinguar is one of the youngest product owner and lead machine learning engineer for the AI organization of community driven AI at Omdena. She's also the student ambassador in Women in AI, which promotes inclusivity in the tech community. And she's working as a senior data analyst at Accenture. She only has 24 hours like us. And you know what? Besides all of this, she's also the founder of the Google Developer Student Club in her campus because she wants to make sure that the students in her campus, besides just learning theoretical AI, also know how to apply it. Okay, so over to you, Armielyn. Please do share, your insights on using AI for innovation.
All right. Thank you so much for that. All right. So let me share my screen for a bit. I hope. Okay. All right. So now you can see it on the screen. All right. So I'll be sharing about the AI for innovation. So how we I can actually focus on how we connect the unconnected schools, especially most of us are children. So perhaps you're curious about how we can use AI to connect those schools that are not connected. So actually, just to give you a bit background, so I'm really more on specializing in AI. So I have worked on with several projects about AI. So if you're interested to learning more about it, so maybe I could share it in the presentation. All right. So yeah, actually, I started my interest in data science and AI, especially when I was just 15 years old. So just like you, I started so very young, but at the same time, I didn't know exactly how to code it, to program it. So I've been so fascinated with it. And basically, I read a lot of books. I've been watching a lot of videos, learning about this one. And also, if you know, Jimmy Neutron is also my favorite character. And before, so maybe if you know him, the guy with, very big brain who knows a lot about AI and how it can be used to solve problems. So yeah, I love it. So just like you, I have started working on a project. So this was basically just a bit backend of how I started off my experience with here. And that became the reason why I'm now so interested to making an innovation with AI. So we had this organization. So basically what we did is that there was like a certain area in Sudan that doesn't have like really the connectivity, especially like for schools, we know that we need internet. We need modules, materials for us to learn more. And some of them haven't, received any like assistance for that. And what we did is that we make use of AI to solve that problem. And from there, I also find interest in computer vision. So basically, that's my picture when I was like a little kid. So what I did is I make use of AI to actually just revive a little bit of these images. So actually, on the left side, that was the original picture. But now when I try to use AI, computer vision itself, it becomes so clear that you can now see my eyebrows, some part of my face, and so on. So that's how just one of the wonderful things about AI that I find so really interesting. And maybe perhaps you yourself are so interested to learn more about it. So this is what I did to my images. And actually, we had this problem like before about, a certain place in Sudan that have faced a lot of problems in terms of how they can provide a better education. And actually from there, we thought of maybe we could use AI to innovate, education, solve problems there. And, they just, these children are just one of the few children that are facing difficulties in terms of, having good connection on the internet, learning more about, let's say, if they're interested to know coding, perhaps internet is a really, most useful thing that they need to have. So there's this one kid here that wanted to be with, with his friend because at their homes they don't have any like internet. Like he had to borrow some books to friends, but there's really an insufficient copy of this book. So what we did is we make an innovation out of this problem. So we basically, what we did is we try to locate the schools that are not connected, because we believe, education is the most important thing for the lives of the children. And maybe you yourself, learning AI takes, so much learning, so much coding practices. You have to watch a lot of amazing videos to learn more about AI. And perhaps they are just also the same as you, wanting to learn more about it. So what we did is, from the images that you see, the images of me, my picture, that's the concept of that. We try to analyze the images. So this is the sample of the images that you can really see here. And there's a lot of, trees. You can see it. Maybe you can type in what kind of objects do you see here in the images. You can type in, can you see like, squares? Can you type the shapes of these pictures? We can see like there's like, I guess, grass, any description, or we can see different kinds of objects here in the picture. So what we did is, from these images, we try to think of another way, like how can we really understand these problems, and how can we help the students to have a better education, a better internet connectivity, access for, let's say, if they want to have more materials to learn. So these are just one of the schools that doesn't have that. So we try to make use of AI to analyze these images. And that's so fascinating that even in a single image of a school, you can definitely, help a lot of students, because maybe, some of these schools have like, let's say, 1,000 students, hundreds of students, and then from there, we try to use AI. And basically, from that situation, we actually tried to connect the schools. And basically, this is just a map of the schools that is located at Sudan. So there's a lot of red dots here. You can see it. Like if you can try to count it one by one, there's a lot from them. And you see that there's like a yellow color, which means those are the parts of this map that has been connected. So which means that we can use AI to innovate the education. And perhaps you're curious, like, wow, and why exactly these images like put here? Like, how can we put it there and that? So just basically use AI. We just want to analyze, and then from there, we try to locate the objects that you see. This one, for example, let's say the skull might be like color, let's say letter L. There's like one images here that looks like a U shape. There's another one here that looks like a square, right? And there's one here like just one line. So there's a lot of different kinds of schools. And what we did is we tried to analyze it and then try to predict whether this certain school is a school, right? The question there is this a school? So from there, we tried to analyze it, and we tried to research more about what kind of school does Sudan have. Is it like U shape? Is it like an L shape? Is it like I shape or other kinds? And what we've noticed that these are the different kinds of schools that we have in Sudan. They have like a square shaped school. They have like a one line, a rectangle shaped school, and so on. So there's a different kinds, and from there, AI can do something about it. So we're able to do that, and now here, this map right here. And another thing here, these are some parts of the place in Sudan that has been already like connected, which means that from those images that you see a while ago, we can now tell that this certain school has not been connected yet. And what the government will do is that from these images that you gathered, they will do something about it. They will try to connect with the organizations or the policymakers will have to do something about these images, because we know when they see something like that, they can now tell us, okay, this is the current problem and we need to do something, because data is telling us. And that's the power of AI. We can always innovate to something else. And of course, thanks to these projects, because now we're able to connect the schools and we're able to map them and using artificial intelligence. And perhaps you're curious, like, okay, so what if I have a picture of me also, or maybe you, and you're like, when you go outside of school, when you maybe going to mall, maybe you see a lot of objects. Actually, AI can be used to analyze those, and something you can innovate it. And perhaps you're curious now. Well, I'm also now helping other students to learn more about AI, and that's pretty much of what I could share about going to AI and understanding these images. And actually, what if you're curious that what if I want to try analyze my maybe something around my place or something that I could see anywhere and then try to do something innovate or maybe do some innovation about it. So that's basically how I started off. And I feel like I wanted to share this that AI made me feel more human by being an inspiration. And of course, going to AI, innovating things, or thinking of how we can help with others always reminds me that AI doesn't make you feel a robot, but it makes you feel like, okay, I'm willing to help others by knowing or by using what I know. And perhaps you yourself, you want to help other peers. Maybe you want to learn, your country, or other people that you have in your life and, make them, make it more life easier for them. And so that's basically how we innovate things with AI. And if you have any questions, feel free to, give it to me or maybe ask the questions about it. All right.
Does anybody have any questions that they want to ask? I have so many. Okay, Nantara, go ahead. Unmute
Um,
yourself.
Hi, good evening. So I had just one doubt. So Miss Armielyn, you made a project where you said you analyzed schools to like identify like which buildings were schools and which buildings were not. And you also said that you were doing this to help like education in Sudan. So how exactly does that help in educating kids in Sudan?
I think that's a good question. Actually, from there, like for example, we had, the images that you give to us, and then from there we analyze it, and then we show them, we show it to them that this is what it looks like, and then what you do is help them to have a better decision making because one thing that we are doing in AI is that they provide us data and we try to analyze it and communicate it properly to them so that they can use it for a better decision or maybe help their community to have a better life. So that's what we do. So it's really more on the data side. It doesn't mean like we just do cold things and then firmware, that's okay now. But it's also communicating it to them so that they can really see that, okay, we need to do something. So that's the reason why we're doing AI. We want to encourage them to do something from these problems and make that life easier for the children. Yeah.
Okay.
Armielyn,
Thank
was
you.
it also because, when you identify the schools, so the
Mhm.
government could know that these are the schools, which may or may not have support, and then they were able to reach out to the schools to ensure that they had connectivity? Was it also one
Yeah.
of the reasons why you all were trying to identify the schools and not schools?
Yeah. Because like there in some of the images, it's actually around 50,000 schools. And one question from there is that is it all of that schools or like is it all of that 50,000 are schools? So we had to identify each by each of those images that is it really a school. So based on some of the educators from Sudan or research papers that shows that this is what it looks like, that Sudan schools look like have a white color on their side of the building or like the color blue or something, and that decides us that this one is a school and this one is not because it's just a house. Yeah. So we had to select and make sure that the AI can understand that this one is not and this one is yes. So yeah, that's what we do.
Thank you.
All
Vanika,
right.
you take your thinking out
Yeah.
loud.
You have a question?
I have a question, but yeah, I think I don't have any questions. I answered it
Sure,
all.
sure,
Did you
sure.
answer it yourself?
Yeah,
You want
Yeah,
to say it out aloud so maybe other children can think about what you were thinking, if you
yeah,
don't mind.
yeah. Oh, you're in
how,
mute. Yeah.
how exactly did you develop the thing? Like, did you use a certain platform or like?
Oh, that's a nice question. Okay, so actually, we really coded. Like, for example, these are the data, and what we did is from the data that we have to code it. So we've tried using some platforms like some environment that we can code. Like for example, if you're familiar with, let's say, VS Code, those the platforms, and we had to code it there and build the algorithm. So it's really more on building it from the scratch. And we've tried using some of the models in AI that has been already trained, which means that what we need to do is to feed the data from there and then it process the data. So there was like some kind of approach that we've done from that project. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
Any,
So do you have
anybody else has any question?
or maybe someone here are interested to also analyze images. Yeah. I think Vanika is interested to try analyze images.
Armielyn, I wanted to ask you a question. Today when we teach our children AI, we have something called a training set, right? That
Yeah.
that these are actually schools. They're already been, this was supervised learning or was this an unsupervised learning model? Most kids here
Yeah.
do understand the difference between the two. So the training that you did, was it supervised or unsupervised?
Yeah. Actually, what we did was we labeled it, which means that, okay, so from what we've gathered of what kind of school does student have, so we try to label it individually. So like individually, like this one is school, label it with name, and then this one is not. So all those images we had to label it. So it means now it's now supervised. And then after we try to, label those images and it becomes now a supervised, we try to split it. So we have training set, which means that this are the 80% or maybe 70% of the data. And then we try to build it on the model or feed it on the model. And then the testing set will be the one that the data or the model doesn't even know yet. So we had to feed it so that we can see that, okay, this model can really predict whether this image is a school or not. So that's what we did from that.
Does anybody else have a question? Because I have one more.
Oh, okay.
Then
Right.
Sarah, go ahead.
So, okay, so I had one more question. Is this like something that has already been implemented or it's still like a work in progress?
Oh, right, right. Is it on the model or the project?
So, like, the model and the project that you showed us, has it been implemented? Like, has it been implemented right now? Has it made like an
Yeah.
impact?
Yeah, actually, yeah. So actually, after we've done the project, the UNICEF, that the organization, they have now been using it to other places, not just in Sudan. So what we did is we tried to build a model that is for Sudan, and now they're continually using this model to use it for the other countries that also has the same problem. So that's how it is making now an impact to other places. Yeah,
Wow, that's really
yeah,
inspiring.
yeah.
So, Armiline, how does that work? Given the fact that, schools look a certain way in Sudan, it may not be the same like they look in India or maybe another country. So, don't you
Yeah.
have to uh, change the training data set for other countries, or is it built upon that?
Yeah, actually, the good thing about the model is that you label it, which means that, for example, if these images might be different a little bit on Sudan, so we had to label it again. But the model can now, give us like the idea because it's now labeled. So what it does, so it performs, prediction continuously. So it can, test on different kinds of, labeled data set. And then from there, it now continues learning from there. So I think what the good thing about it is that if that happens, that other countries might have a different kinds of school, and it continues to feed on the model, it kind of have a better idea of what kind of schools that this location might have, and then it continues to improve. So the idea there is when you have more data, you get to teach the model better and it performs well on whatever problem that you might. So that's the good thing about having more data sets. So yeah.
So, this leads to the diversity. So, then also your
Yeah.
model is a fairer model. I had one more question. Today, the governments wanted to know about the existence of these schools to also know which are the schools that maybe not have an internet connection. Through satellite imagery, was it
Yeah.
possible to identify schools which have internet connection versus schools that do not?
Yeah, actually the good thing about it is like if they provide another more kind of data that we can see now the satellite, because some of the buildings might have that little bit structure of kinds of wirings, or this is what they had. So maybe from there we can try to again label that this one doesn't have like this certain wire or connection or satellite. Then from there could be again to do the model or and so on. So that's pretty much like it's more on the side of making sure that you've labeled these images and then teach it or feed it on the model side. So yeah. So it's really like doing image analysis or image processing using AI can really like really powerful, because maybe if you're interested to trying to, like for example, let's say traffic, like how can you detect which one or which places has like a lot of cars, a lot of bicycles, a lot of different kinds of vehicles, and then from there try to label it again. This one is car, and then count and so on. So that's how powerful using computer vision on AI. Yeah.
Anybody else any questions? That's very well answered. Thank you so much, Armileen. Agastya, Manveer, any of the boys, Aryan, do you all have any questions? Because I know you all have learned some of this, right?
Yeah, maybe someone like you wanted to try doing image analysis.
Actually, here we have Aryan. This is Aryan Kothari, right? He just took part in the World AI competition and he made a project on deep fakes. And he also won a
Wow.
prize. No, Aryan, that is also a kind of image processing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, can you share a bit about your project?
So I basically like made a project to detect like deep fakes. So I upload a picture on it and it usually gets it correct.
And do you remember your two buckets? What were the two buckets that you trained it with?
Deep fake and real.
Wow, that's nice. So that's really nice. Like you had a two label, which one is a real and which one is a fake. Okay, that's right. That's awesome.
Like the
Congratulations,
school.
Ari.
It's just like the
Yeah,
school one, right? School or not school.
yeah, yeah.
Kids, that was the whole reason Armiline was talking about innovation, because, when you learn one technology, it is your imagination which helps you innovate on using that technology for different use cases,
Yeah.
right? Anybody has any questions on how they can take this forward in their own learning? Ask her.
Yeah, maybe someone like, here wants to do a project about, school, not school, or try human face, not human face, or other kinds of, approach. So yeah, you can, share it with us. It's nice, Ariane. You were able to use what kind of model did you try to use there?
So I made it like very supervised.
Oh, okay. Did you try using GANs?
Yeah. I
Oh, cool. Wow. How old are you?
can.
Wow, you're 10 and then you build something like that. That's awesome. GANs is more about really a deep, like for example, we have an image. Like here, we have a picture. The GANs will understand more deeper than what we see. So that's the concept of GANs. So you were able to do a GANs at your age. That's nice. So what was your next project, Ariane? Do you have a next project that you like to explore?
I'm still thinking.
He's still
Oh,
thinking. That's a good thing. I can see Vanika think. I can actually see Vanika think on the screen.
yeah, yeah. I
I
think
want
I'm just thinking something else. What you want to try, analyzing images.
A project, but I don't really know what I want to try. I'm
Oh,
thinking,
where we
yes.
oh, okay. You're curious where to start? Is it the question? Oh, okay. Yeah, actually, in my side, how I started is really more on watching videos. I wanted to understand, like, how did you do it? Like, how can they understand this, this GANs, this models that's so really difficult to understand at the very first glance. So what I did is really watch a lot of videos, read more in papers, or even actually ask a lot of people to know more about it. So it's really more on you go to understanding it first and then try to apply it on your own. So it's really more on watching one and then from there you can try to do it on your own.
Uh,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah, it's cool.
It's
What yeah.
Go ahead, Ar.
Yeah, what kind of models have you tried to explore, Ariane? Aside from GANs, have you tried deep learning?
Not really yet.
Oh, oh, I can't hear you. Okay, yeah.
My microphone was really low.
Yeah, now it's not working. Okay. Yeah. What kind of model have you tried aside from cats?
I made like a Spider-Man PS5 video game or not detector.
Oh. Also, you're really interested on computer vision or like understanding images.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. That's so cool. Keep it up. Maybe you can now build a lot of, um, detection of images. Yeah. Because anyone, yeah. And thank you so much. Do you have any questions for the others?
Not really.
Yeah. Actually, if you're going to, see Facebook, there's a lot of, posts that shows pictures now, the AI art that from your image, you can now generate something like really different image, but kind of like a drawing something. Yeah. So now it is now something, like that. But there were like some circumstances that some people post a different picture of them and then they tell that I am that person. But the truth is they are not. Actually, the one that you build, Aryan, you can actually use on that. Like, how can you detect that this person is not really that person based on the images that he has or any and so on. So yeah, that's really amazing. Yeah. Oh, okay. There's like a question here. Oh yeah, actually I have a link in. Yeah, you can connect with me. So if you have a link in, but oh my God, that's you're too young to have a link. But yeah, you can reach me out on LinkedIn. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Hopefully yeah. All right. So do you have any questions? Or I think Vanika is thinking like a project right now. She's thinking something. Like she's going to build something after this call.
I have one question. Is it like a good thing if AI takes over the world or something, like takes over, like by in people doing their jobs if they take robots and stuff like that?
Yeah, yeah.
Will
Actually,
it be
that's a
a
good
good thing or
All right. Actually, that's a good question because, like, when people go to AI, they always think that, oh my God, AI cannot take over humans. But actually, when I was trying to work on AI, it was really like a stupid person. Like, it doesn't know what it's doing. So they need humans to help them. Okay, this school is a school because of some things. Because AI doesn't know about school. Like, it doesn't even go to school, right? Like exactly we need to code it, program it. So actually AI needs human. So it's just a tool, but we are still the one working it. So yeah, it needs to continue learning and it needs to have a supervision of a human. So I don't really think that AI can take over the world because again, if there's a lot and lot of data, then we need more to understand it. And unlike us, actually, like if you're gonna think of it, like our human brain is still smarter than AI because basically when they look at two images, they don't just say it again like cat, but as we can identify that it's a cat already because some of the things. But the AI still needs to understand that this one is a cat because it has things like that. but us, we can determine it, right? So that's how the difference between AI and us. Like we can just, snap of it. Okay, this one is Vanika because she's wearing a glass. I like the AI, it can determine something else. So still need you. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have any question, Leon Tara?
So, yes. So there's this like controversy that's going on about AI and art right now. So so artists, there are certain artists who agree that AI can, it should be supported. So by feeding in a class with their like a data set with their drawings, the AI basically makes like similar drawings based on what it observes in their art and like the style. So some artists support that, while others say that it's technically fake because the
Yeah.
the work doesn't go into it. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like adding on to Vanika's question. What do you think about it? Do you think it's a good thing or it's like a bad thing?
Yeah, actually, now in terms of the AI art, it was like again, AI is actually stupid. Why? Because it doesn't know what it's like to go into art, right? It just learn from what is existing already, but it can't, mimic what we can do when you're doing art, right? We can make some abstract, like out of our emotion, but actually AI can just copy whatever it has from the internet, but doesn't put any meaning, right? So this is a difference between human and AI. Human can give meaning or give emotion to that drawing. Meanwhile, AI just, gather whatever the images they can see and then give you this one. So that's the difference. So I think it still depends on what kind of data it is being feed on at the model, or possibly there is no sufficient number of data that is being fed on the model. So again, the AI art still needs more and more data for it to learn. And again, another thing to note on that is that some of the people say that when they generate art, it's unique, but actually just copy different artists, from different sources. So it's now we can say that AI is still stupid, still need us, to give more understanding to whatever the image is. So it's the difference between, the human and AI. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
But that's nice that you read papers or you get more interested with AI about the AI art because it's really going everywhere. Yeah, that's nice. So make sure, yeah, to keep being informed and at the same time be careful to some papers because some papers might, give you some false information. So we have to really be cautious on that because, a lot of people might be posting about this, but it's not really true. So you have to, go to sources that really valid or really true enough that really shows that this one is that, so on. Yeah. So do you have any questions, everyone? Or
Yes,
yeah,
kids? Did you all enjoy that? I hope you'll have learned something today.
yeah, yeah. Good luck on your AI journey. And oh, that's nice. I've met now some 10 years old, 12, learning about AI. Because when I was 12 years old, I would probably play Lego. I would probably watch some movies, but I'm not doing AI. So you guys are really so good. You might be, the next genius or next innovator of AI. So give it up. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Armiline, for being here. Thank you, children, for joining in on a Saturday night. It's 10:30 for Armiline, so I think we should let her go. And I know
Yeah,
that these children have to go for dinner, but this was really, really interesting. And I hope all of you are going to think tonight how you can use innovation for the technologies that you already know today. Okay? Thank you again.
thank you
Bye-bye.
so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.